Shawn's been part of the Suzie Cappa Center since probably 2004, 2005, right when he got out of high school, the transition program. And he started coming to the Suzie Cappa Center on Range Road, and we were so amazed at the talent that he was showing with all the pieces of artwork that he was creating.
He is very interested in animals. When he does any kind of an animal, he does like every hair on its face and the glint in its eye, and you can see that animal almost alive on his canvas.
Animals are often a subject of Shawn's artwork, and a few years ago he did several large paintings of wolves. At the time he was coming to the Suzie Cappa Art Center on Range Road, where we're neighbors with West Middle School. And West Middle School's mascot is the wolf. So Shawn was invited to come visit one of the art classes and share with them about being a young person who has an art career and is making income from their art career. And then we offered that they could display one of his paintings. So one of those large wolf paintings is now hanging in the office of West Middle School.
My younger son Colton goes to West Middle School, and he sees the wolf every day.
And one of the things that he worked on that was really amazing is he created a lizard that was totally out of cardboard and some clay. And we were like, what is he making? We kept watching him, and we could see the body starting to form, and he would take pieces of cardboard boxes and then he would glue them together, and then he would sand them with the piece of sandpaper. And eventually he came into this huge big lizard, which is amazing and is on display at the Suzie Cappa Center right now.
When I worked with Shawn, he worked in several mediums, but he especially liked working on our potter's wheel. He was one of the few artists we had who had the skill to use a potter's wheel. And he liked glazing and that whole process of seeing how your work comes out of the kiln. He did a lot of painting then. Shawn always worked very independently. We might have a class going on one end of the studio. He liked working on the other end of the studio on his own projects. You could tell he had the outcome already in his head when he started a project.
3 years ago, Michael Israel, a renowned artist, was here, and he worked with Shawn. Shawn was one of the artists that was chosen to do the starting of a picture, and then Michael came in and helped him finish. Michael and Shawn had a connection, and that was an experience for him that we saw after that experience. Shawn's art evolved a little bit. He got freer with it, not so confined to a paintbrush or tools. He was in there with his fingers and his hands, and he was moving paint around. And that was just a really special time, I think, for him.
Shawn had the most interesting art job for a few months. Mad Camp Productions created and sold around the country the backdrops that photographers use when they take people's portraits. So a couple of times a week, we would help Shawn go downtown to a studio where large canvases were laid out on the floor, and he would paint them with brooms, with brushes on long handles, and they were amazing. And then they were taken around the country, and it was a wonderful experience for Shawn and another source of income.
Shawn is a very quiet person. You can ask him questions, yes or no questions, and he can definitely let you know by shaking his head. He does talk to his mom. So she tells us when he leaves the art center, but when he's here, he's really into his work and is really focused on the pieces that he's working on. And if he finds something that he's really determined to make, like he did this amazing mosaic table, and he created all of the tiles out of clay himself, and then fired them, and then he had to paint each one with the pottery paint, and then they had to be fired again, and then he placed them all on the tabletop, and that piece is amazing.
Anchor is a national nonprofit that supports organizations like Black Hills Works. And when they were having their 40th anniversary, they invited the organizations that they support to submit self-portraits as a way for people served to tell about their own lives through their own eyes and through their own art. So at Black Hills Works, we invited the people that we serve to come to classes at Suzie Cappa and learn about self-portraits, and for people to do their own. And then one self-portrait was selected to represent all of Black Hills Works, and it was Shawn's pencil drawing of himself. So it is now hanging in the permanent collection of the Anchor headquarters, which are located in Alexandria, Virginia. But even more exciting, the self-portraits that they selected were put on display at the Smithsonian Institute at the National Portrait Gallery for Anchor's anniversary party. Shawn had never been on a plane before, and he'd never been in a big city, but Black Hills Works sponsored Shawn and his mother to fly to Washington, D.C. so that they could be present at that party, and we were all so proud.
Whatever he wants to do. Whatever he wants to do, he can do.